Hey, hey. So I've been part of the Kotak group, and I'm part of the Kotak AMC, which is the mutual fund arm of the entire Kotak group. It's been 20 plus years now with Kotak AMC. And if you ask me about milestones that I have done or what has happened in along the way, I think it's very difficult to define a specific milestone while we have been building platforms, especially with the things happening around technology, right? Now, if you look at what we were at 20 years ago and what we are today, significant amount of things that have happened over every single year, whether it's not just investor experience or operational efficiency, there are so many things around governance and stuff. And it's been a very exciting journey so far, considering the fact that things are always evolving in the technology landscape. Very difficult to pinpoint a specific milestone, but today we are a fifth largest AMC in the country today, the domestic fund house today, and when I joined, it was around 3,000 odd crores of AUM that we were managing, and today we are at almost 6 lakh crores. So that's a huge jump from what we were. So obviously, whatever that we have been doing so far, hopefully, has been right. Uh, One of the reason why we have been able to achieve and come to the position that we are. It's very I mean, every year we are doing something. Every 6 months, I would say that within the given the current context of what technology platforms are evolving into, I think every 6 months we keep doing something or the other to improve productivity, improve investor journey, and largely uh, for us, it's more not just about customer experience, it's also about retaining the customer's trust, right? So you build those guardrails or whatever. I mean, end of the day, it's the investors' money that is there, and we need to ensure that it's not about just creating wealth for him. It's also continuing to retain the trust that he has with our organization, with the Kotak brand per se, and that's what we have been doing so far. So every day is a milestone for us, honestly. Every single day, looking into what we're doing, we keep evolving, we keep looking at platform solutions. Learning is a continuous process, right? We can't be sitting and just watching. We have to keep learning, we have to keep adapting, we have to keep adopting all of these platforms, keep the business as usual. For us, what is implemented today becomes business as usual tomorrow. Yeah. I'll tell you what the philosophy at Kotak AMC has been. Okay, we have, even if you compare us with our peers in whether it's big, small, or whatever, the number of employees or the number of branches that we have is much smaller compared to the size of operations that we do. Okay, now why that has happened is because inherently we have believed in automating things. Okay, uh, trying to reduce dependency on manpower. It's more to do with the risks that are associated, maybe the reduction in errors that may happen. Because finally, we are talking about financial wealth here, investment decisions here, NAVs here, portfolios. Now, these are all very sensitive things that can't go wrong, right? End of the day, you need to publish an NAV that is correct, and it's very essential that they are also published within the time that is. It's a regulated industry. There are NAVs have to come out every day within the specified timelines. So it's innovation and automation has been part of the DNA. Today, thanks to AI, we've been also been able to leverage some of those technological stacks to bring in a lot more efficiency, whether it's branch accounting, whether it's internal operations, or it's even investment journeys. We have been always been trying to see to it that minimal human intervention happens, because that leads to lesser human errors, more efficiency, and better tax. While we had systems that could automate, when with the advent of RPA, a lot of things, it only kind of added power to whatever that we were doing, and the entire analytics piece only helped us the right pitch that we should be making, whether it's even for the investment decisions or trying to identify the right customers for whatever product stacks that we have. See, resiliency is by default required, right? I mean, all of us, as I mentioned, for us, NAV operations is very, very critical. Trading platforms have to run. NAVs have to be generated at the end of the day, right? Investor needs to know what is the returns that he made, what is his portfolio value today. Now we can't have a scenario where my operations get impacted and I am not able to generate the NAV, or I am not able to work. I'm not able to trade. Uh, uh, we were when we started, we were as an organization which had a very very small dr working out of a small office outside our own premises. So when we talk about operational resilience, it's very essential that the investor comes to know the NAV at the end of the day, right? He needs to know what is the value of his portfolio. My fund managers need to trade at the right time, correct? When they're buying or selling stocks or whatever, or even the treasury teams, when they are managing inflows, outflows, all these have to run seamlessly. So for us, the resiliency is a hygiene, correct? It's not just a regulatory requirement for us, also it's a hygiene that we need to work towards. So when we started our journey in building resilient systems, we had a very small DR setup. I'm talking about what's 15, 17 years back, and we used to, even then the technology itself was not available, but we used to ensure that we have a parallel hot standby running, and you could kind of bring those systems up. Today, we have a full-fledged DR and BCP setup, which includes, while we are co-located on a third-party system, we are also having a DR and BCP running on a very different seismic zone, which is out of the city, right? It's in a completely different city, and we do real-time replications, and we also conduct drills to ensure that these are all up and running as and when it is required. So absolutely essential that these are all working, and we have been able to, fortunately, even during the recent geopolitical situation that came up with our neighbor. I mean, we were asked by a regulator, "Are we ready?" And we said, "Yes, we are completely ready. We don't foresee any problems running out of a different seismic zone or different place outside where we are today." Uh, all critical operations for us resilient architecture. Okay, these include NAV, these include fund accounting, these include treasury, these include the day-to-day fund management operations, and we have business across verticals, right? We are not just doing mutual funds, we also do AIF, we also do PMS, both the discretionary and non-discretionary. We also do pension fund for that matter. So all of these have to run as is, right? I mean, any single day we can't have any of these platforms going down or not. And the regulator incidentally is open to a lot of discussions with the industry, and I'm part of the Amphitech committee, and we keep meeting the regulator. We have consultation papers that come, and we kind of contribute towards it. So it's an ongoing engagement, and it's how agile your systems are, right? Uh, Today, we believe we are significantly mature. We have done our audits basis the new circular, and we have not had any material observations, which actually showcases the fact that we have already compliant to a lot of new requirements which came in, and all these requirements have been discussed, have been kind of they have been evaluated by everyone in the industry, and there have been obviously and happy to actually say that the regulator also listens to it. It's not just a one-way street. Okay, yes, it is essential to protect the interest of the investors, and all these changes are obviously more towards keeping the investors in mind, and they also understand what is practically possible, what is not, and it's an ongoing engagement. But happy to say that we are significantly mature in terms of all these operations. I think technology is evolving, right? I mean, the latest news that we hear is AI agents creating their own social media platforms. We really don't know what's going to happen. But can we have businesses running in an automated fashion, completely, you know, self-driven trading platforms? So we do see like automated responses. Customer, how do I do a automated self-help platform for the investors? So these are all the things which we believe will help a lot, and our technology stack is moving in the direction where we are able to consume some of these newer platforms which help us achieve these objectives. Can an investor come to my portal and do a complete analysis of his own portfolio and be able to know what is the right mix of products that he needs to invest. So it's like today's a lot of these platforms are already available. When you go to some of these trading platforms and try to ask your AI agent as to how should I rejig my portfolio, I think you get those responses. So these are not, I mean, these are not wishful thinking, these are not utopian thoughts, these are all happening in some form. But can we do these with mutual fund investments also, given the regulatory restrictions that we have, right? We are not allowed to do many things by the regulator. So within keeping those regulatory things in mind, can I build platforms, can I build layers of efficiency, not just for the customer but also for my operational teams, which can say even my sales teams, can I use technologies which help them decide, help them nudge or meet up distributors, help them, give them an advice on what is the right product that they need to talk to the distributor about. So multiple scenarios like this. So it's obviously going to be a lot more AI driven, and we as an organization have taken a very very pragmatic view. We are there on all the clouds today. Okay. While there is a lot of repatriation happening in many of the other organization enterprises, for us, digital has been completely on cloud, because we're seeing a lot of efficiencies over there. Yes, there are certain costs to it, but the efficiencies kind of then help you overcome some of those things. But we are there on all the three large clouds. We are able to kind of synchronize data across the three, work in such a manner where we're able to use the best of technologies across these platforms. So whether it's voice, maybe somebody else is better. Why say X is better. When it comes to content and data, maybe Y is better. We are able to kind of have that hybrid cloud infrastructure, which is helping us build some of these at our end. So the defining moment is that being part of this change, right? In our generation, uh, I am the generation who has seen 2 MB floppy disk to what we do today, right? So when we switched over, say maybe even from a Lotus 123 to an Excel Word, that itself was a defining moment for many of us, correct? And today, when you're working on teams, when you're working on very collaborative platforms, that becomes another defining moment where a lot of these synergies that we're trying to build in as an organization. When we're trying to work with some of these newer platforms, we're trying to also bring a lot of collaboration. And when people will consume this, see, one is okay, you build in all this and it's all there, right? But what if people don't really use it? How do you make them adapt and adopt all of this? It's very very difficult, trust me, uh, for people to, not everybody may be tech savvy, but then how do you make it very simple for him to understand the language of these newer technologies? How do you bring them to know that, hey, this is something that you can do very easily, using some of these features that the new platform brings? And if they start adopting those, that's the defining moment. So I personally have been going to many branches, trying to see that the adoption grows. And while whatever that we may be doing, whether it's bringing in efficiency, we may have brought down tax from maybe 10 days to too few hours and all that is fine, all that works pretty well, but if the adoption across the organization doesn't happen, then it becomes a challenge. So everybody needs to move in the same with the same philosophy of using some of these newer tech stacks and trying to consume. Otherwise, your investments are actually, you may build digital platforms, you may have customers coming in just working at the back end, but it's not necessary that your organization is also growing, right? All that is happening outside the ecosystem also needs to happen within the ecosystem. You need to have people who only think technology today as as an integral part of whatever they do in their business vertical. Any function that I keep telling people that, hey, whenever you want to come to us, any you want to have any requirements or whatever, it's very essential that you first think through whether I can automate or an AI can kind of do it. I mean, whether it is possible or not is secondary, right? You need to first understand that, think completely differently. Whatever technologies that were there available in the past, you just forget about all that. You tell us what you want to do. Maybe there are ways and means to achieve it. And it's very essential that we as a leader keep looking out for all these platforms, understand what's happening outside, look at competition, see what others are doing. Otherwise, it's going to be, you will not really even know. If you are sitting in a place and not even looking at what's happening outside, it's going to be a challenge. So I strongly advise people that keep adopting newer platforms, learn, fail, it doesn't matter. We did some innovation about 1 and 2 years back. Some of the things, not everything works, right? But you at least get to know what is the right way to do it. If it fails, yes, maybe some things have not matured to the extent that you may want it to, but tomorrow they would definitely mature. So you kind of then improve some of the other things, which is you use some part of it, and then maybe as and when the technology is mature, you can keep on improving on that. So larger message to everyone out there is keep learning, okay, and bring and do that change management. It's very difficult to make people really uh, run along with you, uh, especially the old school. Yes, there are youngsters who will do a lot many things that will accept the reality, but having said that, uh, try and make it easier for others to change, then the adoption becomes easy.